Welcome, everybody. This is Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. Every week we work to bring you stories of all kinds of interesting approaches to service to others. Our particular focuses in our club are innovation, entrepreneurship, and education. And we're excited this week to have a student in Japan presenting to us. And you're going to learn more about her and her interests. And to introduce her, I'm going to introduce you to one of our members, Nate Gildart in Nagoya. So Nate, let me hand it over to you.
Okay, thanks very much, Rustin. Kiana is a student of mine in grade 11, and she's taken a number of courses at this international baccalaureate school in central Japan, which is where Nagoya is located. I'm a new teacher in coming to the school, and I was very quick to learn that Kiana is one of those people that reaches out and helps people and that kind of thing, as I was trying to learn how to navigate Nagoya International School. And she is in my history class, so that relationship has just gone from there. And we have really cool conversations about what she's doing with service and that kind of thing. And when she was telling me about one of her projects that she initiated, I thought, wow, this is really cool. So here's a person that had one experience, and she turned it into something that other people are benefiting from. And that's, as a student too, learning as she goes along. So I was just really, really impressed with not only Kiana's initiative, but also her care. So she's going to tell you about this project, and I will unmute. So Kiana, take it away.
So I'll get the presentation up first. So hello everyone, I'm Kiana Pollard, and today I'd like to talk about this initiative that I've started called Action for Change. So Action for Change is an advocacy group for world issues concerning children, and it involves volunteer activities like fundraising and spreading awareness for global issues. And it also aims to build connections with those you advocate for and also the local community. So we work closely with this organization called ICANN. And ICANN stands for the International Children's Action Network. And the organization basically aims to improve the lives of children in crises. And what they aim to do is to work with the people instead of for the people. And I was really inspired by that rhetoric. So here are some things that we were able to accomplish so far. We created this booth for a fair trade fundraiser. So we got these fair trade products from the women of the Philippines who basically gained their income from selling these fair trade products. And they lived in this place in the Philippines where they had to sell garbage in order to create their income. And they couldn't allow their children to go to school or even feed their family properly. Most people there don't have 3 meals a day, and they are really extremely malnourished. So what basically these mothers did was they created this association of mothers where they created their own products to improve their own lives and to take, I guess, a step in improving their livelihoods. And what I learned recently was how this mother was able to send her 2 kids off to university alone. She is a single mother, and that really made me happy. So that's one of the things that we've done. And we were able to raise about $100. And it was a recent event that we had. This is the education about fair trade. So we went to the office of ICANN, and we talked about why we need fair trade and the actual impact that fair trade has on the people it supports. And it was great because we were able to really listen to the impacts that this organization had on these people, namely the women in the Philippines. And you were able to really understand the, I guess, impact that something could have on their lives. It changed their lives completely. And it's really great that we were able to help them in some capacity. And after that, we had a fundraising event. So for this event, we learned about the situation in Yemen right now. They have a sort of refugee crisis. So there is a, I guess, place for children that I can, I guess, support. And these children are allowed to play around and act freely, which provides them a chance to be children in a state of emergency. And we are fundraising for, I guess, the continuation of that facility. So my hope for this club is to make volunteering something that's really close to people's hearts. Volunteering could at first be something that's really, I guess, difficult to begin, because you might think, well, what can I do? You might think you want to start big, but you don't know where to begin with. So hopefully my club acts as this platform where these people could find this really, I guess, easy to join activities that really makes a huge impact. And I think through this club, people might get inspired to do their own initiatives. And it's a really small club right now. I've only had like 2 or 3 people join, but hopefully more people would see the impact that small activities can make and contribute to a better world. So my story with beginning this club was by joining a Skype conference one day with the street children of the Philippines. And I was looking through all these volunteer sites and I found an advertisement for that. So I went to the ICANN office and I was able to talk to these children at the facility that they were operating. And they were able to eat 3 meals a day. They had education, they had time to play. And seeing the smiles on their faces, as opposed to the photographs they showed us previously of what challenges the street children have to face, it was really amazing to see what a difference something like that can make. And people were asking about what their dreams were and what they wanted to become when they're older. And some of them even said they wanted to become teachers. And I thought, that's really, really amazing. This facility gave them hope to pursue something that would help others, to educate others so that those children don't have to end up in the same position as themselves. So after that, I was really, really inspired to do something to help ICANN in some form continue this amazing program. And I began really small, and it was really hard to do because, doing things by yourself takes a lot of energy and time, and it didn't really work out the way I wanted to. But in the end, I learned how, collecting a few postcards, selling it, that does create a small bit of money that really could help someone. Because what the interns at ICANN told me was that, for example, 100 yen, $1, could buy these children 2 notebooks to write in. And just giving that small amount of money just could change these children's lives. And so this year, when I went into junior year of high school, I thought I could do something bigger. I learned a lot last year, so hopefully I could do something that could inspire other people, not only myself, to make a change. Because I wanted other people to feel the passion like I did after seeing those children smiling and talking about their dreams. So yeah, I started up this club, and I want volunteering to be something that is close to people's hearts, and not something that should intimidate them. Because all in all, I feel like volunteering should be a thing where anyone could feel free to join. Even if they have a small amount of time, it's a great thing to do, because even the smallest actions can make a huge change. And that is why I called this club Action for Change, because sometimes people are really passionate about issues, but they feel so intimidated by the, I guess, vastness of it that they feel like they can't really do anything. So by having this club, I want volunteering to be something that is easy to partake in, and maybe that one step that they take at the beginning could open up a huge world for them, and maybe they might be inspired to do something on their own and create another club or help another issue, or yeah, that's my goal in the end, and I hope that people get inspired in some form. So yeah, thank you very much.
Kiana, that's really cool stuff. Excellent. I'm particularly impressed that you saw this, you were inspired, and you were willing to start out small. I think that is one of the most powerful messages about how to figure out how to make things happen, which is to say, I'm going to figure out what I can definitely do and build from there, right? So when you think about the challenge of trying to scale up, as we talk about, looking around your school and thinking about how people get involved, and you think, okay, well, I've got kind of a small club now. What are some of your ideas for trying to scale up the club? Just getting more people involved.
Yeah, so I have a close relationship with the people at ICANN, and they actually do this thing where they go around to schools and give a little seminar. But the organization is a local group, so I feel like we could bring something like an international aspect to it. So by having these people come over and maybe do a presentation and showing what they do and how it affects others, maybe we could translate and reach a wider audience who are maybe not native Japanese speakers. So yeah, I feel like if people could see directly the impact that it has, it might inspire them as it inspired myself, and maybe they might want to take a step forward and take action.
Cool. Mr. Gildart.
Yeah, all right, Kiana, thank you very much. It was a great presentation. I'm going to kind of tack on to what Russian just asked you. I have a series of questions here, but first one, you had mentioned quite wisely that people tend not to volunteer because they might be nervous about it. They might be a little bit timid. Maybe people don't even know how to go about volunteering. How do I find an organization I can serve in an area that I'm interested in? Kind of thing. So what is it that you can do to help the students, or even the wider community? Parents, teachers, at the school, or in the Nagoya area, to learn about volunteering opportunities, to get over that nervousness, about reaching out and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely understand the fear, because I was the only person doing that, I guess, the conference from my school. And there weren't a lot of high schoolers either. So there were a bunch of adults. It was really intimidating, but I feel like I was able to take a step forward. But I feel like it could be difficult for other people. So by, I guess, being that first person in a way, allows people to kind of say, hey, that's not so bad. Or I guess, oh, she's doing this and she seems really happy about it. Maybe I might want to join as well. Like being that sort of model for other people, I feel like is really important, as well as having maybe like having a gradual build-up. Like we have really established clubs like Red Cross and Habitat. People join those clubs more often because maybe it's more established. So if I could gradually build up the club to be something that a lot of people join, then maybe more people would want to kind of get involved. And what I am doing now is sending out emails every month or so when they have a event. And, I just say, hey, you could respond to this email if you are interested. Here are some details. And yeah, I could get a couple of people from doing that. And I also found that when I had the Fair Trade Conference and Fundraiser with the other two students, they really enjoyed the experience. So I feel like they might want to share their own experiences with other people, and that might inspire others to join as well because they had a good experience.
Very cool. Maybe you can reach out to other international schools in, not just Central, but, the rest of Japan.
Yeah, definitely.
And having a very specific request can be really good for getting people to volunteer as well. So, for
Yeah.
example, you may have a list of like, here are 5 things that anybody could do to help these kids in the Philippines, and they're just really small things. It's the kind of thing that may just take a few minutes, right? And then you go to somebody who says, or who makes videos, and you say, all right, can you make me a video that would help kind of get these things out there? And then you're really tapping into that person's talents. That person's now kind of, not as intimidated to do something that they're not, they haven't done before. But that can be really good. I mean, every organization needs somebody that can tell their stories, for sure.
Yeah.
That gives me an idea, actually.
Excellent, excellent.
What do you think, Kiana, in response to that?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, but I don't know anyone who makes videos, so maybe I could actually try to find someone, and I think that's a great idea. Yeah, definitely speaking to someone's interests and talents could be a great idea, because it shows that even if that person might not be comfortable with maybe talking to people or actually going out there, they could still make a difference in their own way, which is a great thing. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and speaking to their hearts as well, because you don't have to have a a professionally produced video. You have some good footage, maybe you can give it to somebody that could do it for you. But, if you have some good angles and this and that, you'd actually put something together with iMovie pretty quickly, I would think. I did have another question, but I've just lost my chain of thought here. Sorry. Rushton, if you, oh yeah, sorry. So what kind of interaction do you have with some of these children? Now, you were doing a Skype with some street children or former street children from the Philippines. And I'm thinking, I wasn't thinking this before, but listening to one of your responses, Rushton, maybe there's a way that you could engage with that community a little more frequently if possible, and maybe to get people to come in and join your club. If they saw that direct engagement, I'm really meeting these people. I know that what I'm doing is really having an impact on these specific human beings that I've already met. Is there any way you can do that? Do you have some kind of interaction still going on, or?
Yeah, I was actually planning on having the Skype conference be done at school. I thought that was a great idea to kind of, you know, let the students at NIS actually see these children and be really inspired by their stories. However, after consulting the ICANN interns, they said that they're not really doing that anymore. So in a way, I have to figure out new creative solutions to, I guess, directly engage people with the community.
I'm
And
sure you will.
maybe like, I was thinking pen pals for elementary school might be cool.
It's a great idea.
So I think, yeah, that'll be an interesting idea.
That's cool. Identifying things that the stories that they can tell as well. Often I think when we're in these kinds of programs where we know we're looking to help someone else, we forget that they can help us too, right? That they have stories to tell us and to teach, and if part of the message that cycles its way through ICANN or through your contacts there, where you say, hey, our students want to learn a little bit more about your part of the world and your part of the Philippines, and to tell us the kind of things that are important to you guys, and what you see and what you're learning. That gives them much more of a sense of we're not just targets of help, right?
Yeah.
If I may kind of jump in with a bit of a story, a few years ago, I led a team to Dagupan City in Pangasinan in the Philippines, and we did a 2-week training of some teachers there. So, thinking about that experience, when you said that these kids want to become teachers, I spoke to my heart, because the teachers I met, these were like the best human beings I'd ever met. Right? They were so inspiring. We had like all of these challenges for what we were doing in the workshop, but no complaints at all. They were so excited to learn the things that we were teaching them, that they could take back to their students and all. And I just thought, man, on multiple occasions, I was like, am I bringing my best game to these people? Am I worthy to be teaching these people? I mean, they're just the best people I'd ever met. So it's really cool that you're talking with those kids in those circumstances, and they're saying things like, I want to be a teacher, because the dedication is at another level there. I mean, it's amazing.
Wow.
Very cool.
Yeah. So when you think about like where you really want this to go. Because, you're like, well, I want to grow the club. I want to do good things for them. But if you could think like really big for a moment, you can be like, man, in 3 years, if this were happening, that would be crazy amazing. Like, what would that be?
So there's this really cool program for people to go to the Philippines and actually meet the former street children and also the women who are making different trade crafts. And I feel like if the school could have that as a trip for the students here, that'd be so amazing, because I'm sure the people there would love to talk with us, and I'm sure the people here would want to hear their stories and get inspired and be inspired by their strength and courage living in such a, I guess, challenging environment. I think that'll be so amazing. And, I feel like it's so important to have connections with the people you're helping or, I guess, on a journey with, because helping seems like a unilateral thing. But like working together, really important thing, and having that communication and actual interaction is really, really cool. So if that could happen, then I feel like, yeah, that'll be an amazing thing to have done. So
That's cool. That's a really cool answer. I mean, uh, like a school trip would be great, without a doubt. And those kinds of things happen to for students who are really kind of tenacious about it. Hey, still interested in this? What else can we do? Hey, what's the next step? Is there anything that I haven't done yet? Oh, no, get back to us next week. I'd love to do it sooner. I mean, and really just to kind of be on them and on them and on them about it. But if it looks like it's not going to happen, you can really stop and say, could I make it happen separately? Because there kind of always possibilities. Nate.
Yeah, let me ask. All right, so what are you thinking about, like in terms of furthering your own learning? Whether it's about the people that you're helping to serve, whether yourself as a volunteer and person that does service, whether it's within the Philippines or even how an MPO functions. What are you doing to further your learning in terms of your project and in general what you're doing?
So far I've been working closely with ICANN, and they have all these amazing educational events. And what they do differently, I think, from maybe like a really general, I guess, website or presentation or anything like that, is that actually put in, I guess, excerpts of what the people there are saying about their, I guess, efforts. Yeah, for example, I talked about the woman who was able to send her 2 children to university. There are countless testimonials like that, and I feel like you could learn the facts, but if you don't learn the stories of the people, you don't feel compelled to work harder and really push your, I guess, boundaries to make things happen and make change. So
Good for you.
yeah. Yeah, so not only looking at the facts, but actually like trying to figure out the stories of the people, I think is a really important step. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to kind of look at different websites that work really closely with the people they're aiding, and also maybe TED Talks and all sorts of platforms, because I want to hear the voices of the people there, and not just the organizations that are helping them.
Well, hopefully we can make the TED thing happen in Nagoya next year. Baby steps.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, Nate, do you have like a final question before we wind things down?
I don't have a final question. I do have a final comment. As you can see, Kiana's a very sharp young person here. So future of the world's in good hands with people like you, Kiana. It's very, very much a pleasure to teach. And thank you for talking to our club today.
Thank you.
So Kiana, in just a minute, I'm going to hand it back over you to give a final word, but I have to give kind of the standard wind down for all of our guests. So just be thinking of whatever that line is for us. To all of the folks viewing this program, to our members and guests, thank you very much for joining us. It's our goal to highlight inspiring stories from all over the world. Anyone who is engaged in something that makes you stop and say, that's the kind of thing that people need to hear about. Let's get in touch. Let's get in touch with that person and say, how can we help that person tell the story of their efforts? and see how that might inspire, new possibilities for them in other places, with other people who take the idea and run with it. This is what we love to do. So I hope that you will not only let us know you were here via the attendance survey that's just below the recording window here, the little the video window, but also leave a comment. Leave a comment in the discuss area, the DISQUS discuss, and in that, if you have particular thoughts about the kinds of work Kiana is seeking to do with ICANN in the Philippines, or if you have had experience in the Philippines yourself, or anything from this meeting that kind of stands out as something important to you, feel free to let us know. And Nate and Kiana and I will all see those comments as they come in over the course of the week that this is the program. And so we're really happy you joined us. We hope you'll join us again next week. And to finish us off, I'll hand it back to Kiana. Kiana.
So no matter who you are or where you live, I feel like everyone has the ability to create change through even the smallest of actions. So I hope that you find something every day to, I guess, improve upon and to challenge yourself to make a bigger difference in the world. Thank you.